Good evening, everyone. This is Pastor Dante here, and I'm hosting, sitting in for my man Rashawn, the Pulse. I am so excited to be here with two of our hosts tonight. We are going to have a great time. Listen, before we introduce each other, before I allow them to introduce themselves, listen, we want to let you know you need to make sure that you are subscribing to our YouTube channel. That's New Kingdom TV. You also need to make sure you go on Facebook. Subscribe to Facebook, like and share on Facebook, as well as also facebook.com/New Kingdom TV. We're also on Instagram, also under New Kingdom TV. So you need to follow us on all three of the platforms, because we drop some major knowledge in every one of our shows each and every week. So I'm so happy to be here, to be able to host. Of course, many of you may know that God gave me the vision to create New Kingdom TV, and to create these and allow these great shows to come on, and allow these great hosts to be able to have a platform for them to be able to share what they believe God is sharing with them, to be able to share with you, so we can all be able to hear from each other and learn from each other. So of course, I'm blanketed by these millennials. Y'all got to know I'm definitely not a millennial. So we're going to have some back and forth. We're going to have some tug and some pull, and I believe we're going to have a great show tonight. So I'm gonna allow each one of them to introduce themselves. I guess we're going to start with our girl Armani. She's going to go ahead and introduce herself.
Hi everybody, my name is Armani. You already know who I am. I'm the activist of the group.
And of course, Miss Samia.
Hey, it's your girl Samia, the boss lady. You know me.
Yes. We all know Samia and Armani. As I said before, I'm sitting in for our regular host Rashawn. He's not able to make it with us tonight, but we want to make sure that we come to you and just share with you things that we feel is pertinent. Of course, the Pulse is to make sure that we articulate what's going on in the community, what's going on with our people, what's going on with everyone that we're connected with. And of course, we just came out of literally one of the most, and since I've been alive, one of the most, I can't even get a good word. I'm just going to use the word craziest election that I've ever been a part of in my life, in my lifetime. But I'm thanking God that it's finally getting to the point where it's completely over. Everything has been signed. Everything's been sealed. We definitely have President-elect Biden and Vice President-elect Harris. So we can I don't want to have to say the word move on, but I think there's some more pressing areas that we need to deal with. And we know the biggest thing that we're dealing with right now in this holiday season is the coronavirus. No matter what has been happening, you might think it has gone away. I don't know what end of the spectrum you're on. So we're going to check the vitals right now. The vitals that we need to check on is this coronavirus, this thing. We've heard from scientists, we've heard from doctors that there was going to be a second wave, and everyone was discounting it. Not everyone, persons that still believe that this is just a virus, that it's going to go away. They discounted the second wave, but we're literally in the midst of a second wave right now. And so many persons, record number of persons are being affected each and every day. Persons are dying of this virus each and every day. I actually read a report. I read in the newspaper, I think it was USA Today, some reports on Russia where they literally have persons' bodies stacked on top of each other. They actually took pictures of them. Bodies were literally limbs were hanging off, bodies on top of bodies, just stacked on top of each other in one of these outskirt hospitals in Russia. So I'm here to tell y'all, whatever y'all may think, this is just my opinion. Whatever you guys may think about this virus, this thing is real, and until this vaccine comes in and comes to play, we're going to really be dealing with this for quite some time. But let's check the vitals. I want to, Armani, what's going on? Why do we still have a group of individuals still believing that this is just some type of hoax, or is just like some type of cold or some type of flu that's just going to go away?
Well, personally, for my generation, we feel like we're missing out on life, even though, because a lot of us are extroverts. We like to have a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
And then, some people, they're missing out on their graduation. You're missing out on, lifetime things that, you would expect during this time of the year, especially for homecoming for the HBCU students, because I think last week would have been homecoming. So people are like, we're missing out on things. But in my opinion, I don't think we're missing out. It's called being safe.
Yeah.
It's better being safe than sorry. So a
That's
lot
right.
of people right now, they're concerned about, I want to see my friends. Of course, you can still see your friends through a virtual, a virtual party, through Zoom. I mean, I know everybody's tired of it, but it's better to not get
Right.
sick. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? So
Right.
I just think, my generation, it's the level of, missing out on stuff instead of just being safe. And that's
Right.
just, everybody has their own opinion to it, but I don't think it should be up for debate, especially when it comes to people's health.
Yeah, I like the point that you made about your generation, and it's true. You have that kind of invincible spirit also, that you feel like nothing can touch you.
Of course.
You're young, you're vibrant. You're really just starting to live life. And it's true. A lot of the individuals in your generation are been asymptomatic, but not everyone. Okay, not everyone. Everyone has not They may have contracted or not felt the symptoms of it, but it's real out here. But you just said it. You feel like you're missing something, but really, are you really missing anything? And I think this is one of the fruits of the coronavirus, is you learn how to be patient. You learn how to see things from a different perspective versus your own perspective. And I believe that's something that the coronavirus has happened specifically with your generation. How about you, Samia?
I feel like people are just turning a blind eye to reality. At this point, if somebody's really trying to pretend like they don't understand that COVID is real, to me, it's kind of, you're just saying that to say it. At this point, I know more than 2 handfuls of people who have actually had it. So I'm not in any way disillusioned that it doesn't exist. In fact, today alone, I talked to 3 people whom I'm reaching out to them. I'm so sorry to hear that their Thanksgiving is ruined regardless if they can meet with their family or not, because now they have to be concerned about their health. And it's not just a virus where as though 10 people in the same house can have 10 different reactions. That's not a normal virus.
Right.
And it just makes no sense to me that people are really trying to be so nonchalant about it. I was actually talking to someone today, and I never thought about it this way, but he said that, if you took in account the numbers of deaths in the US, that's every 3 days is another 9/11. 3,000 people died in 9/11, and if you divide all 253,000 people that have died, that's another 9/11 every 3 days.
Wow.
And people are really trying to minimize, yes, there's been some speculation that in the hospitals they have to put that the person died from COVID, even if they had other things going on. But every single day, 1,500 people are being found out with COVID. 1,500. So even if 1,000 people may or may not die every 3 days from COVID, every day 1,500 people are coming up with new cases.
That's it.
That's a problem.
That's a major
and
problem.
I really understand, what Armani is saying, about missing out. I have very young children. They just started being social. They like, I want to go to school. I want to do this. I don't care. Like, they could go back to school tomorrow. My kids are not going. And I have to supplement that. This is something that people need to start figuring out ways to supplement their social needs, because it's never going to change if we don't nip that kind of stuff in the bud.
Listen, I know, you've been dealing with your children right now, making sure that they safe, but that's what we're doing now, even in the format that we put together, just to make sure that we're practicing our social distancing, making sure that we practice what we're preaching and practicing in a way that's going to make sure that everyone needs to understand that we need to take this thing serious.
Right.
And unfortunately, as you that quote, or whoever gave you that statistic, every 3 days we're looking at a 9/11. That is something major. That's on a whole different scale. And folks, you guys are listening to this right now. I'm hoping you guys are listening to this and understanding how powerful a statement that is. I mean, 9/11 shifted the entire country, and we're still dealing with the effects of 9/11. There's laws that are in place because 9/11 happened, and this virus is going to shift us for for the rest of our lives. You're going to see persons literally probably wearing masks for the rest of their life. I mean, just because of this virus. Even when a vaccine has been introduced to the country and we've been vaccinated, you're still going to have persons that's going to feel that way. And Armani, I think you and I talked about it. We got to respect people's feelings.
Yes.
We have to respect persons' feelings. If I have an issue of anxiety over someone that may be have been contracted or been close to someone, people got to respect another person's feelings and not shaming them because they feel like, I don't want to go to this gathering because there's too many people going to be there and I want to practice my social distance. What do you say about that, Armani?
I think it should not be a debate about people's health. So if you're going to tell me I'm too safe, I don't care if I'm too safe because I'm trying to protect me and those who I live with and those that I love. So I just think, some people, they try to make it into a debate about it when it shouldn't be, sometimes it has to be about, who's going to be affected by this decision. So if you decide you're going to have a get together with, say 10 people, like they said, you're supposed to have, no more than 10 people. But to me, 10 is too much anyway, even if it's 5 people, sometimes, but you just don't know who has what. Right. But if you were to have like a gathering of 10 people and one person says, I don't want to show up, you can't get mad at that because that's their choice. That's their, it's about, people are talking about the choices that we make. And,
I don't understand people shaming people for how they feel about it. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean,
it doesn't.
If we're allowed to have free will to think about everything else, I don't really understand why people are trying to shame other people for how they want to protect themselves or not. That's just like saying you can wear a coat in the winter or you don't have to. So that's your decision. I don't feel like anybody should be telling anybody what they should and should not do. As far as Thanksgiving goes, that's my most favorite holiday. This is the first Thanksgiving that I'm going to spend at my house with just my kids. But that's what I have to do to protect the family that I love. I'm going to do that. My career doesn't allow me to be as quarantined as I would prefer. And it's bad enough that I have to put myself on the line as I feel like. I don't want to do that to my family, and I definitely don't want to do that to my kids. And on the other end, I have people Armani's age in my family who I don't feel are taking it serious. So I don't want to be in their presence. And I feel like that's just what it is at this time. If people are going to do whatever they want to do, then you have to be smart enough to protect yourself. And this is, as much as I love Thanksgiving, I literally don't put any holiday before it. I'm going to be sitting at my, my own presence by myself because it's just better that way to try to at least be one person that can follow the rules. But it is what it is.
I like that. I like what you just shared, and I'm gonna give right what you. I like what you said. It's you have things that you really love, but the priority is the safety of your family, your immediate family, specifically when you're talking about young children. I think we have to make those types of decisions. And when you make that decision, you have to listen. You got to own that decision. That's your decision, regardless of how anyone else feels. Because I always say this: they don't have to go home with you. You have to deal with your home. You got to deal with the bills. You get sick, you got to deal with the loss of income. All of those things happen, and we don't. One of the areas
domino effect.
With the younger generation, is the skill set. You don't play the tape all the way through. And when I say you don't play the tape all the way through, you don't look at the entire scene that will happen with your action. You don't look at the entire outcome. You don't do the 360 perspective. If I make this decision, I got to look at everything that's going to be affected by my decision. I'm literally taking a 360 perspective of everything that's going to happen based on my decision to do or not to do. Armani, you was going to share something?
It's actually, and I feel like this COVID, I hate to say the COVID debate, but it's caused a divide between family and friends. And I'm like, why are we debating? Why are we going at each other's necks about, keeping one another safe? That should not be a debate at all. And I'm going to keep expressing that it should not be a debate. And I read an article about, how to resolve a situation when you're speaking to somebody about, well, somebody that you love or somebody that wants to see you for Thanksgiving, how you tell them off when they say that you're too safe. And to me, I mean, I think it was a therapist was like, you know, try not to engage in the debate or try not to, like, you know, be hostile towards their feelings. But to me, it should not be a debate at all. And, you know, people should not feel, you know, upset about somebody choosing to protect their body and protect their health. I mean, if that's the case, you know, I mean, it is what it is, you know?
I personally don't care what anybody has to say about what I'm doing most of the time. So COVID wouldn't be no different. Just personally.
You got to take those type of stands. That type of stance is your decision to take that type of stance. So listen, y'all, we're going to take our first break. We literally took the vitals on what we should, what's been happening, how we're dealing with this COVID, this second wave, the second spike, and every medical doctor that I spoke to literally predicted it, and it came true because you're combining the flu season, cold season with a virus that is literally uncontrollable. Listen, can anybody understand this? Before we go to break, do you know that there is no cure for the common cold?
Correct.
There's literally no cure for the common cold. I mean, these are viruses. It's very difficult for you to literally find a cure for them. So for them to be able to, we're going to talk about this when we come back from break. This vaccine, well, these two vaccines that they've been able to create. And I really want, we got to do a deep dive into this. Okay? This is real right here with this vaccine. So hold everybody, listen, we're going to come back. We're going to take a deep dive. Look, Armani and Samir, they already ganged up. They got their bullets in their gun ready. Just pop them off. Say, we got to talk about this. We got to talk about this vaccine. Look, y'all, we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, y'all. Thank you so much for staying with us. Again, I'm your host right now, Pastor Dante. I'm sitting in for my man, Rashawn. Just so grateful to be here with these two women, our other hosts that are here who sit here with us with Samir and Amani. We just literally dealt with the vitals and literally dealing with this coronavirus debate based on, you know, persons literally shaming other persons for trying to be safe and keeping themselves safe. And we had a very great conversation about that. But what's really the pulse, what I really believe that we really need to deal with now is this vaccine. We've heard it talked about. It's been all over the news that there are literally two, I believe Pfizer and the other one, Moderna, has a vaccine that actually came out that they actually say they have already ready to produce. One of them are at 95% effective, in which doctors, I've heard from doctors. I sit on a board for Total Healthcare, which is a federally qualified community healthcare organization in Baltimore City, and the chief medical officer there literally said 95% is literally phenomenal because the flu vaccine typically is only like 30%. Literally works like 30% of the time. So for them to have something at 95% is pretty phenomenal. But like many persons, myself included, very skeptical of you finding a vaccine in less than 10 months when it typically takes a couple of years to find a vaccine. So what do we say about that, Amani? I mean, we got these two vaccines coming out, and listening to the governor, literally it may not even get to the masses until like spring, because they're going to really focus on pockets of the population before it really hits the masses. But you know, they said they had thousands of personnel persons that have gone through the test, and they've done everything that they've done their due diligence, got all the structures in place to make sure things are done correctly. But what do you say about that? What do ye say, Amani, about these vaccines that are coming out?
Well, I definitely understand the distrust with the vaccines, especially considering, people have obviously stated with, getting the flu shot, you get the flu, and, with, historically with, they're trying to talk about how, if they're going to experiment, you know, with the vaccine in, you know, Black neighborhoods, you know, people, you know, have the right to feel that way about not taking the vaccine, because based off of the Tuskegee experiment, and you know that, you know, it could be have really bad side effects and you know, kill off our people, so that they have the right to feel that way. But what I will say is take the necessary precautions to keep yourself healthy. So what I'm saying is take your echinacea, take your elderberry, your sea moss, and all the different stuff that needs that are like your immune boosters, because you can talk about, you know, being safe and not taking the vaccine, but if you're not taking the necessary steps to keep yourself healthy, you can't say nothing at all, or at least be safe and precautious so that you don't catch the virus. Because people who are just walking around without a mask or not taking their vitamins and not caring about the virus, you're going to actually get sick. So I just think if you're going to reject the vaccine or you don't feel comfortable taking it, you have to find other alternatives to protect yourself and those around you.
I agree with you on that. I have a little bit of a challenge that I'm gonna do, but I'm gonna let Samia share her viewpoint. What you say, Samia?
I mean, I honestly am not really trying to take that vaccine, only because I feel like it took about 5 to 7 years to create a vaccine for major diseases. So if it takes about 5 to 7 years to create this vaccine, then how are you going to force one down my throat after 7 months? So I really don't particularly care for the vaccine, but I will say that Armani is very correct about making sure you're taking care of yourself, because if you're not, if you go into a hospital setting, it might not be up to you. So if you wait till you get to the hospital, you know, you're not going to be able to tell them no. They're literally giving it out for free at the hospital to employees and to people who are being admitted. So if you're trying to avoid the vaccine, the best way, like she said, is to make sure that you stay healthy and take care of yourself and create those, you know, necessary needs.
I agree with you. I definitely do agree with that. But my challenge, let me challenge you guys on just for a minute. We did have Dr. White, who's the chief medical officer, on our town hall meeting here for New Kingdom Faith. It was a couple of weeks ago. In fact, I'm actually going to invite her on to the Pulse to actually share with us the wisdom she shared with us, the knowledge that she shared, because we do have to understand these persons, and this is a person that I do trust. And we've been experimented on. We know that. I mean, that's a known fact that African Americans and many other persons, other nationalities, people of color have been experimented on this and the sake of science. But she did challenge us on the fact that what they are trying to produce and what they have produced is literally something. It's not shooting the virus in you, and that was something we all asked that question, because most of the time, like the flu, they literally put the flu in you to be able to help you not get the flu or not have the symptoms to be as strong as they could be. But she said that's not what's happening. And it was a number of other things that she challenged us on. And I'm myself, when it does become available, and if I am in one of those populations where I am able to do it, I definitely will be doing it. It's just because I really believe that in this season, this virus has taken lives and has done some major damage to our entire world. It's not even just our country, and that's the other perspective of it. You know, it's not just about us. And that's the part that it's not just about, and that's what she talked about. It's not just about you, it's about the people that are connected to you that you really have to think about. Yeah, you may be healthy, but you may be one of those asymptomatic individuals that you don't get it. You don't show any symptoms of it, but the person that you come in contact with may not be as privileged as you are and will show symptoms of it. And that's the challenge she put forth with us. And that's her opinion, because, you know, she's in the medical field, but she's also a woman of color. And she, in our population that Total Healthcare deals with, and it's in Baltimore City, it's in, you know, parts of Anne Arundel County, with 99% of them is people of color. And we have to make sure at some point that we really, because the one thing that this virus did do, it affected people of color at an enormous rate.
Yeah.
an enormous rate.
Crazy.
So I mean, so you got to think about what we're saying. Okay, so there's something that that they're going to be giving to everyone, and we got a virus that's literally killing us off more than it's killing off others, and we're saying we're not going to take something that possibly could say. So we just got to really think about for me personally. Now, a person don't want it, that's on them. I always let people own their decisions. Note the alternative is catching it and possibly, losing your life from it.
I just feel like there's a lot that we don't understand about it. I mean, especially, I had COVID earlier this year. I had it. And people are like, you can't catch it again. That's a lie. I know someone who had it in September and she just got it again. And it's not even December.
Wow.
So there's too many different things that are so not, it's not in order. There's not a clear understanding of COVID. One person has no taste. They say the people who have no taste have less symptoms. Then they say the people who have more symptoms are not the ones that lose their taste. But then you find a person that loses their taste and has all the symptoms. Right. It's too many different things. Yeah, and I feel like I know from experience when I was in my household and everyone had COVID, nobody had the same symptoms.
Right.
Out of 5 people. So to me, like that of anything freaks me out. I never ever want to put myself in a position to have that again because with my children, I feel like they could have died tomorrow. And this was around the time where little kids were dying from COVID, a 5-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 7-year-old. So I'm like staying up for 14 days watching my kids to make sure they're living. So to me, like, it's just too much it's just too much that they don't know. I would prefer them to know more. It's not that I wouldn't do a vaccine if I felt like they had more knowledge. I would if I felt like every doctor was saying the same exact thing, and that at every hospital they were saying the same exact thing, and that the information for COVID came out Monday and then on Friday it still was the same stuff, then sure. But I feel like every single day it's like, oh, and we found this out, and oh, this isn't really true, and then oh, it's just too much.
Yeah, it's a lot of distrust. And I was gonna kind of backtrack to what Pastor Dante was saying about how you were saying the reason why the majority of the Black community has been impacted by COVID, and that it's crazy how people rejecting that, rejecting the vaccine or potentially taking it. I think it's because also the reason why a lot of us are dying from COVID is because of the lack of representation in the hospitals, and how before COVID we were dying by the hands of doctors, especially for Black women when it came to giving birth to children. And especially Black women, because we outcry for somebody to take care of our try to take care of us before we give birth to a child, and then you see a lot of Black mothers dying because a white doctor rejected how they felt. My mom was one of those people. I wouldn't be here if she fired the doctor and somebody came in and stepped in to help. So I just think we have to take those factors into consideration, because there's a lot of distrust with white doctors and how we feel about them. I mean, I'm not saying all white doctors are the same, but it's racism does play a part in especially when it comes to Black health. And I really do want to express that, because I know a lot of people think, they don't want to take it. But I think it's just, racism has played a part in, Black health so much that a lot of people just you can't really want to take the vaccine, because they just, based off of past testimonies and experiences.
No, that is a major point. That was one of the points she made. Dr. White made about specifically Black women, because she made this point, and I don't know if you guys heard it, but Black women's tolerance for pain is so much higher than most people. You have a high level of tolerance for pain, which allows you what may really excruciatingly hurt someone else, it may feel like a pinch to you. So they'll allow those, which gives a person a little bit more opportunity to experiment on how to care for you. And it's happened. I personally believe there's been a lot of, this is a whole nother debate. I mean, I can go so deep into these vasectomies and all these things that they did with women,
Sterilization of Black
sterilization
women
of
back in
Black,
the
it is, listen,
yeah,
I know it's true.
horrible.
I know it. I mean, you've heard the horror stories, a woman going for an operation, come out, sterile. I can't believe anyone can even explain how you can actually explain that out to a person, and you can get away with it, and they've been able to get away with it. You know,
Yep.
that, so we're in a whole nother debate right there. And I know
Yeah.
for a fact, it is no way, specifically when you're looking at African-American women, African-American, specifically women, when it comes to health and their well-being, yes, you're absolutely right. The experimentation that they've done, it is noted, and listen, it's not past history. It's stuff that's still going on to this day.
Right.
And I totally concur with you. And I don't believe it's been enough study. I don't believe there's been enough enforcement and with these medical professionals to make sure that these things, whatever there's not been enough structure in place to make sure it never happens specifically
again.
to women. So I mean, I agree with you 100% on that.
Yeah.
So, but listen, y'all, we have, I'm gonna close out. We want to give each of us going to take about a minute, to just kind of sum up what we've heard and really kind of, not challenge it, give persons, your viewpoint on, as we go into this holiday season, how should we respond to the coronavirus as we go into this holiday? Because not only do we got Thanksgiving, Christmas is right around the corner. This thing is not going to die off anytime soon.
And New Year's.
And New Year's. So, I mean, how should we be responding to this virus? What challenge do you want to put forth to the people right now as we go into this holiday season? I'm going to start with you, Amani, going to end with Samia, and then I'm going to close us out.
Well, I think, everybody should be smart and be safe, and you can still have fun. I think the way you can have fun is through virtual parties, if you're going to do all that, or stay home and find activities that you can do with your family where you don't have to step out of the side of your home. Like for Thanksgiving, obviously, if you have to spend time with just your 4 people or 3 people, or if it's just you and another person, you're going to have to find a way to make the best of that, of what you have at home. So, I mean, there's plenty of stuff you can do. I mean, we have technology at our fingertips. So you can't say you got board games, do something like that. For Christmas, I mean, obviously you're going to have to just wait to give the gift that you wanted to give to other people. Maybe, a couple months from now, I don't know, but you just got to be safe. And I think, everybody just has to be more smarter about, keeping other people safe and those who they live with, and just, just be smart about their decisions, because this virus it's scary. And I also want to express about, making sure we take our vitamins and make sure we, have, immune boosters. Because I just started taking vitamins myself not that long ago. A couple months ago, I take my echinacea, my elderberry, my vitamin C. I drink turmeric tea, green tea, you name it. So, I mean, I know, like, I'm trying to make sure I'm, healthy as possible. So that's all I got to stress to y'all.
All right. Listen, I know Samia, she been wrestling with her children. So she's going to give her 10-second challenge to everybody. Listen, that's what I love about Zoom. Zoom, man, you can do everything. You can multitask and still have some fun at the same time. What say you, Miss Samia?
I would just say, think of the blessings in it.
Yes.
It's very hard to be positive in a negative situation, but you'll find, if you can find that little bit of positivity. I like I said, I would love to spend time with all of my family, but I rarely get to spend time with just my kids. So that's an opportunity to spend time with just my kids. See? So find the blessing in it. There's always a blessing in every single thing that goes down, and you just have to really look for it and be grateful, because with gratefulness comes abundance, and with abundance comes happiness. So if you just constantly try to be grateful, then You shall feel much better.
Yeah, listen, I'm gonna piggyback off of that. Look for the opportunity in this. It's an opportunity. I really believe this virus has literally exposed so many great opportunities. Amani, you talked about your health. You know, you're taking care of yourself better now, more now. There's so many great opportunities that we can find versus finding out what we versus focusing on what we can't do. Focus on what you can do. Focus on the things that can bring you pleasure while you're home with
Right.
your children, being able to establish some new memories, some memories that you will definitely not be able to memories that you probably would not have had because you'd have been on the go. You know, establish some new family activities that you're able to do. Speaking, and I share with it many of the times. I have a relationship with my brother that I didn't have before this coronavirus, and I know it's because of I've now have time to speak to him. We have time to talk. We got more things in common than we realize. You know, it's look for the opportunity. There's opportunities in being and being in a safe place. It's an opportunity, you know, as a pastor for you to get closer to God. It's an opportunity for you maybe in the season to disconnect from certain things and really get and connect with him. I know technology is something we can use, but I believe that can also be a major distraction when you allow it to take over your life. You know, so
Yes,
I believe that the
definitely.
opportunity that presents itself is really, you know, I think, you know, we're afraid to be alone. We're
Oh,
afraid to
definitely.
really have a conversation with ourselves and not have someone else give us input. Because really, when you start talking with yourself, you're really talking to the spirit that's in you that's really trying to connect you
Hmm.
to God. That's what
Right,
it's
Come
trying
on
to
now.
do. It's trying to
right.
connect you to God.
Yep.
Talking with yourself is really talking with the spirit that's in you to connect, and God will literally lead you and guide you to your
Mm.
next opportunity, for your next blessing. He's literally trying to get you there. He's literally trying to free. Can it be an opportunity? And I'm gonna close. Can it be an opportunity for you to be home and really be and hear from God, so He can direct you to your next blessing? And you're not
Wow.
getting input from other people, and they literally leading you in the crazy direction that they're going in. How can they guide you and they going in the direction and they have no idea where they going at?
Right.
Mm.
Listen to God. Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. And we're gonna close and trust in the Lord with all
Wow.
your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your
Mm.
ways, acknowledge him, and what? He
He
will
shall
direct your
direct
path.
your path.
Listen, y'all.
Mm.
You listen to the pulse. I was excited. I kind of like this. No, you
Yeah.
got to make sure you come back because you might not get your spot back. No. Listen, Rashawn will be back
Love
with us.
it.
Rashawn will be back with us on next week. I'm so happy. I was so excited to be here. Listen, please do not forget to go to our YouTube channel, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you go to our Facebook page, like our Facebook page. That's facebook.com, New Kingdom TV, and also on Instagram. Follow us on Instagram. We have a lot of great content coming, y'all. We got a lot of great content. You can listen to one of my podcasts, A Renewed Mind, that's on there. We got a cooking show, stay at home and cook with us. Man,
Yes.
we made a grilled cheese with crab in the middle. Oh, it
Woo.
was amazing. Go back and watch it. Y'all better watch it. We got a lot of content on New Kingdom TV that I really believe that you're gonna like it. Look, y'all, this is Pastor Dante. Listen, thanking you so much for watching us here on the Pulse and New Kingdom TV. God bless you, and we'll see you next week.